Utah Mammoth fans, tusks up, and welcome into your Utah Mammoth Daily Update. Rookie camp begins along with that shiny new practice facility out in Sandy, Utah. I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures of that place, but it is amazing. It is so cool to see. And should the Winter Olympics come to Utah, I am sure that the U.S. hockey team is going to be very pleased with their new digs, at least for a couple of weeks there. But that new facility opens September 10th. Rookie camp begins as well before they jet off to Colorado for the tournament showcase, whatever you want to call it, from the 12th through the 14th. So the headline, we've got a bunch of former first-round picks going in there. 5 that are suiting up. Could have been 6, but, Caleb Desnoyers had that surgery. So we've got Tidge Ginla, Cole Bedoin, Dmitry Simashev, Daniil Butt, and Maverick Lamoureux all going to that camp and that showcase. That is a stacked group of players coming through. The guys to really watch, though, Simashev and Butt. I'll be talking about them here in a little bit, but they both just signed their entry-level contracts, and they're expected to push hard, really, for roster spots this fall. Butt's combination of size and shot could make him a power play weapon, and if Iginla flashes like we all think he will, and he has that same scoring touch that he had in the WHL, hype around him is only going to get louder, and I don't know how they keep him off of the big league roster. This camp isn't just a formality, not for a team like the Mammoth that are pushing really hard for the Stanley Cup playoffs. This is a chance for Utah to inject youth, even more youth, you could say, and set the tone for the franchise's identity heading into its first full season as the Mammoth. So it's a very exciting rookie camp to pay attention to, and it kicks off this week, which, wow, we've already almost got some hockey to be played. Okay, so Keller and Peterka. So we got the J.J. Peterka blockbuster trade. It wasn't really a blockbuster. Not a lot moved between the two teams, but it was a big move. I wouldn't call it seismic. I wouldn't call it earth-altering. I wouldn't call it blockbuster. But it is a big move. So let's circle back to what some people are calling the deal of the summer. I don't know if that's really accurate, but it could be because there's not that much when it comes to other trades that really shook things up like we had during like the trade deadline. But not only did the Mammoth pry him out of Buffalo, and you can't say pry him out, but he wanted out, and Buffalo didn't really want to keep him around if he didn't want to stay. So once they got the trade, they locked him down with a 5-year extension. So that's faith in the front office along with faith from the head coaching staff, or the head coach and the coaching staff, about what he can do. So he's coming off career highs in goals, assists, points, and he was one of the most dangerous transition players in the Eastern Conference when he was on the ice. Now, slot him next to Clayton Keller and Logan Cooley. That's firepower. Or swap out Logan Cooley for Dylan Gunther, slide Clayton Keller to center. That's a lot of firepower to deal with. Utah didn't just add a scorer. They added somebody who drives possession and creates chaos off the rush, which is how Utah thrives. You can already pencil him in to the top power play unit, or you could put him in the second power play unit and juice that side up as well. Imagine Clayton Keller on the half wall, Cooley in the bumper, and Peterka flying into the soft ice. Good luck stopping that. There's very few teams that can stop that on a power play. And here's the thing. This isn't a rental. This is a 23-year-old that has a 5-year deal, and Peterka could be part of Utah's core for the next decade. That's the kind of trade that can reshape a franchise and gets the fan base, like myself, very juiced up and ready to go. And let me tell you, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see Peterka in a Mammoth jersey. All right, so are the KHL champs ready for the NHL? Well, I talked about them a little bit earlier, Daniil Butt and Dmitry Simashev. They are both signed, so 2 of Utah's top prospects are officially in the fold. They're no longer in Russia. They're in the States. Both Butt and Simashev signed their deals this summer, and they're competing at rookie camp this week. Butt is a 6'5" winger with a heavy shot, the kind of player who can park himself in front of the net on the power play and make life miserable for goalies. He's been called raw, but the skill set is undeniable. I mean, if you can find highlights of him in the KHL, it's pretty fun to watch. If he adapts quickly to the North American game, he could push for NHL minutes this season. And we've talked about that previous episodes. Simishev is the opposite profile. He's smooth. He's a smooth skating defenseman, praised for his mobility and gap control. Some scouts have said he projects as a top 4 defender with shutdown potential, and he's only 20. He's already got the size and poise to make the jump. He's been playing professional hockey for years now. The signing of both of these guys signals something important. Utah isn't just hoarding prospects overseas. They want them here and in the system and competing with veterans for playing time. That's a big step in building the Mammoths' long-term identity, which is coming into focus now as we get further and further along with what we see. So let's now talk about those veterans, right? So those veterans, depth signings, and shaping the roster. So there was no big free agent signing. J.J. Peterka wasn't really a free agent. So the free agent signings, we got Nate Schmidt, Brandon Tanev, Scott Perunovich, and Vitek Vanacek. Those were like the big names. Those were the veteran names that came to the Mammoth during the offseason. So Utah didn't really shop for the huge ones. They were kind of in the conversation for Mitch Marner, but they figured that J.J. Peterka would cost a lot less, which he did, and he fits their timeline a little bit better as far as age and stage of development. So what Utah did is they filled key depth holes that can help make this lineup. So Nate Schmidt signed for 3 years, a little bit on the longer side considering his age. There's not a lot of tread left on those tires, but he's there to stabilize the blue line. He's not flashy, but he does bring 700-plus games of NHL experience, and that's what the core needs. Brandon Tanev is the energy guy. We saw it with Seattle. We saw it with Winnipeg. He brings physicality and a relentless forecheck. I think Mammoth fans are going to love him. He never takes a shift off. He is always flying around the ice looking to cause chaos. Scott Perunovich has a 1-year prove-it deal. If he can stay healthy, his puck-moving ability could be a sneaky weapon on the third or fourth pairing. And in net, Vitek Vanacek adds a veteran insurance. Obviously, he didn't have the year last year he wanted to have. Sure, he won the cup, but he wasn't really solid in net for the Panthers during the regular season. But he was really solid for the Devils before that. So Vanacek gives them an experienced backup who's handled heavy workloads before and has Stanley Cup playoff experience. If you've seen the theme from GM Armstrong, from Bill Armstrong, that's what he's adding in free agencies. He's adding the Stanley Cup experience. So none of these guys are going to sell a lot of jerseys, but this is how you build a playoff roster. Smart depth that gives you options when injuries hit. And then I want to go back a little bit to the J.J. Peterka. This could be the new Kane and Taze. It really could be. That's like the ceiling. That's the ceiling every team wants, is that kind of pairing. And those two guys could get there. Could get there maybe late this year into next year. It depends on health. It depends on time on ice. But they are both extremely talented and very good at what they do. I think that's their ceiling. I really want them to get there. But we're just going to have to wait and see as we go through this season. But that is your Utah Mammoth Daily Update for today. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.